What's up, BSers? It's Fred from Birdland BS. We're talking AFC, NFC Championship weekend. I got some special guests in the house. I got Darion from Spotlight Sports Talk. I got Sonny from SZG Sports. Sonny, you ready to do this?
We're ready, man. Let's do this damn thing.
Darion, you ready?
Let's go. Let's do the damn thing.
Y'all heard him. Let's do the damn thing. What's going on, YouTube? Fred, Darion, Sonny, we're here to talk some championship football week. What's been going on, guys? You guys good?
We're ready, man. Here to just show you how to pick games, you know?
I hear that.
I'm 6-2 so far in the playoffs, so I want to keep it going.
Humble brag, humble brag.
I have not been really great ever since the wild card weekend. I was good there, but I haven't been good lately, but hopefully I get these right this time. But I'm ready to get it locked and loaded.
Well, this week you're either going to be 100%, 50%, or 0%. It's pretty cut. It's pretty cut and dry this week. We got two games left. 2 games, AFC and NFC Championship. We're going to start here with the AFC Championship game. Sonny, I'll let you take the floor with this. Start it off, man. What do you see happening in this game? Who do you like?
So this game is interesting, right? The one game that I got wrong last week was the Chargers disappointed me, which was the game that I got wrong before that when the Ravens disappointed me against the Chargers. So the Chargers have been the culprit of both of my losses in the playoffs. But damn, Brady looked good. But, you know, my thing was, which it was my whole spiel with the Colts. The Colts were a dumb team go to a cold weather team. I thought it was going to be tough. I didn't follow the same advice. I think I let my emotions get into the pick with the Patriots and the Chargers. Now, that's not it this week. The Chiefs are just way better in all facets of the game. There's no reason why the Chiefs should lose this game at all. The only reason, if they do, is because of Belichick and Brady. Because they're just that smart, that good. But talent-wise, I don't see it. I think Andy Reid gets over the hump, and I have the Chiefs winning this week.
All right, so you're on board with the Chiefs. Darion, what do you see happening in this game, brother?
Like earlier, I did my predictions earlier. I'm gonna just break it down like I did in the video. The best chance for the Patriots to win is keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. That's the only way the Patriots is going to win this game. If you could keep the time of possession to at least 30 minutes of time of possession, the Patriots win this game. But I don't see that happening. Patrick Mahomes, 50 touchdowns this whole year. He played well in his first divisional game, first playoff game. He looked good against a good Colts defense. The Patriots look really good at home, but the Patriots are 3-4 in the playoffs away from home.
Right.
That just tells it right there for me. And honestly, I like the way Kansas City defense is playing as far as like with D Ford and Justin Houston coming off the pass rush. I really do like that. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs 38-35.
Ooh.
All right. So you got this as a high-scoring game. All right, so for me, there's a couple of factors in this, and Sonny, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I was high on the Indianapolis Colts going into last week. I thought they were a more complete football team than the Patriots. The Patriots had kind of looked old. They looked slow to me up until last week. And I don't think I gave credit where credit's due when it comes to the Patriots. I mean, after all, it is Tom Brady. It is Bill Belichick. And when the spotlight comes on and it starts talking playoff football, they become a different team. And they showed that. I mean, they showed it in that game. Now, this one, I had a lot of question marks going around the Chiefs as well going into last week. The Chiefs, ever since they lost Kareem Hunt, weren't really the same football team on the ground. Pat Mahomes, still Pat Mahomes. He's still kind of doing his thing. But as far as running the football, I hadn't seen a whole lot out of Damian Williams until last week. Last week, that kid stepped up, had a monster game, had over 125 yards rushing. But I think the more telling side to last week's Chiefs game was the defense. I mean, that defense had their best game of the season by far in that game. They completely shut the opponent down. For me, this was a tough coin toss for me. And here's how I decided the game. It's kind of crazy, but this is how I decided, all right? You guys are young bucks, so you don't understand this. You get to my age, you get 35 and above, right? The cold weather starts playing does weird things to your body, man. You don't want to get out of bed. All you want to do is cuddle back up and stay in bed. You don't want to move in the morning. When you're young, boy, cold weather, you're out. You're ready to go out in the snow. You're ready to run around. You're ready to slide in the cold stuff. So I got a feeling this is where the weather, because they're saying it's supposed to be below zero come kickoff time.
Ooh.
I mean, below zero. I know these are both cold weather teams, New England, Kansas City. But, man, at some point, that's got to catch up to a team. And if it's going to catch up to anybody, I think it catches up to the Patriots first. So I'm going to take the Chiefs as well in this game. Now, when I first made my picks, I had this a higher scoring game. And this is before I had heard the weather report. So now with the weather report being the way it is, I don't think it's going to be as high a scoring game. So I see the Chiefs winning this somewhere in the realm of 27-23. I think it's going to be a good football game, a close football game. But I don't think we're going to see 30s just with as cold as it's going to be.
Let me add something real quick. So I had it 33-28. I forgot to mention that. But the one thing is, again, I think just the Chiefs are better. The Chiefs dominated the D-line, dominated the Colts offensive line, which I think is better offensive line than the Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is the Patriots the receivers cannot get separations. The only guy that is shifty like that is Edelman. I expect them to put Fuller on Edelman, and I'm expecting them to be physical on Gronk. And that is the weakness of the Chiefs, that secondary. So if you can hold that passing game tight, I don't see the Patriots running, because that's the only part of the defense of the Chiefs that is a little bit better because of that D lineman.
Right.
So, man, the only reason I have it so tight is because of Belichick and Brady. Yeah. If you switch another quarterback and another coach there, this game, talent-wise, is not even close.
See, with the Patriots, they're ranked 21st overall in defense. And I think Patrick Mahomes is, no matter how cold it is, I think the game plan does not change with this Patrick Mahomes in this offense. I think it doesn't change for me. I feel like the Patriots D is overrated. They went up against a good Chargers team, but Melvin Gordon wasn't 100%, and it showed in that game that he was not 100%. But Damian Williams, he had a few good games after Kareem Hunt got kicked off the team, but he wasn't consistent enough. I think the running backs of both teams is going to be the factor in here, because both of them can catch the ball out the backfield instead of just running the ball downhill or east-west.
That's true.
And by the way, Fred, I'll be 33 in March, so I know how I feel about that cold.
All right, you're a little older than I thought you were. All right, I'm 36.
I look young. I'll be 33 in March, so I know how that cold feels. So.
All right. Well, then you understand what I'm trying to say, bro. Man, when it gets cold like that, you don't want to do nothing. You just want to stay in bed. You don't want to get out there and play no football game.
And that's why Patrick Mahomes and his younger team is going to have more fun
than
the old behind New England Patriots. That's why we all picked the Kansas City Chiefs.
Exactly. All right, so we're all on the same page there with the AFC game. Let's move on to the NFC Championship game. This one should be a hell of a football game, too. You kind of like in the last game, you've got the legend versus the prodigy. You've got Drew Brees versus, Jared Goff here. You've got Kamara and Ingram versus Gurley and Butterball Anderson. I mean, you got some interesting matchups in this game. Darion, I'll let you start with this game. How do you see this one coming?
This was a tough one to really pick, because I really love how the Rams are running the football now. Knowing it's just not Gurley doing everything. Now just to throw it out there, the Raiders released C.J. Anderson after he got released from the Panthers. I just don't know why we did that, but that's another story for another time. But he's been playing well ever since he came over to L.A. and helped Gurley out knowing when Gurley was out. But on the opposite side, Kamara in the passing game is the difference maker out of these two running backs. CJ Anderson can't catch out the backfield. We understand that he's a north-south runner, but Ingram and Kamara could both get the ball out the backfield. That's just my personal opinion. But the Rams are missing Cooper Kupp, and that's where they really hurt in the passing game. The Reynolds is okay. Robert Woods is good. But I feel like the receiving core for the Saints are a little bit better knowing the Rams don't have Cooper Kupp. Michael Thomas is a dog. He's a beast. Nope. He's a problem. He showed that last week. He had, about almost 13 catches for almost 200 receiving yards?
Yeah, he set the franchise record for catches in a postseason.
So I love the Saints have not lost the playoff game at home since Peyton and Drew Brees been in that building. I can't go against that. I surely can't go against it. I am taking the Saints here. I'm taking it another high-scoring game. I'm going 37-35.
All right, Sonny. You agree? What do you see?
I disagree completely.
All right.
Well, not completely. So this is definitely the toughest game. As we were all in the Chiefs' last pick, I thought this was very hard. I almost thought about doing what Scott usually does, flip a coin, just pick whoever is there.
Shout out to Scott there.
Yeah. But I went and checked. So it's very hard to beat a team twice, right? Let's start with that. It is on the road for the Rams, but that running attack, it's not only Anderson, it's also Gurley. Mm-hmm. The passing game, Goff. Sean McVay I don't think Goff is this great quarterback. I think Sean McVay puts Goff in great situations where he can succeed. I agree with you that Michael Thomas is definitely the best receiver, but after him, I will pick Woods and Cooks behind, as if we just enumerating receivers. I think the Rams will do just enough to win this game. If they lose this game, it's because it's going to be decided on the defensive side of New Orleans, choking the running game for the Rams. If they can hold that running game to under 100 between both running backs, I can see the Saints winning. I don't expect that to happen. I think the Rams are going to be clever enough. I was disappointed that the Saints, even though they had a good game, that game was there for Philly to take, right? And Philly is not that great of a team, in my opinion. To be honest, I don't even know how they got that far. So going back on that, I felt the Rams looked better, or no, not perfect, better than what the Saints did against Philadelphia. Getting all that, the fact that it's hard to beat a team twice, I have the Rams edging the Saints 27-24.
All right. So for me, I agree. I think that this is a tough game to call, but there was a couple of factors in what led me to my decision. I can see this being a Ray Lewis type moment for Drew Brees. And what I mean is I think he wins this game, and not only wins this game, goes on to the Super Bowl to win a Super Bowl and rides off in the sunlight. I think that this is, if he can do that, if he can get back to the Super Bowl and win another Super Bowl, I think he calls a wrap on his career. There's no better way to go out than that. But looking at this game as a whole, I trust Sean Payton and I trust Drew Brees more than I trust Sean McVay and Goff. And I don't discredit McVay and his creativity and what he can do with an offense. But I just, when the spotlight's been on, other than that 50-point game that they had on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, Goff is kind of choked in those games. And he really hasn't done anything through this playoffs yet. I mean, he threw for 165 yards last week. It was the running game that carried them forward in that game. They had over 250 yards collectively as a group. I think that that's where this stops. I don't think they're going to run for 200 yards against this Saints defense. I also think some of the decisions that they made in the offseason to bring in some talent that was attached to some personalities, Marcus Peters and Ndamukong Suh, as much as they are good talents, you can get in their head and you can play mind games with them. And you can already see that that's starting to take place before this game even gets going here with Marcus Peters. And if you can get in Marcus Peters' heads and they're putting Peters on Michael Thomas all game, Michael Thomas is going to have a huge game. And I just can't see the Rams being able to make up for that difference. I'm going to go with the Saints in this game. I got the Saints winning this one 38-33 in a high-scoring shootout.
So let me add something, a couple of things.
Sure.
The team that wins this game is going to be the team that controls the other team's running attack. The Rams, to my surprise, were able to do that against the Cowboys. They took Zeke, and they have Zeke running for, I think it was 46 yards. If they do the same thing to the Saints, I think the Rams run with the game. Like I said, I think if there's a team that breaks over 100 yards rushing game, that's the team that wins that game. The other thing is, the one thing that the Rams did, they started hitting hard. They started hitting Zeke hard. They started hitting what is this guy's name? Dak hard. And you can see after a big hit for Donald, Zeke started like, damn. I mean, he was definitely afraid to hit that hole like normally. So I'm expecting the same thing. The Rams have big boys in the middle between Donald and Zoo. It feels like the Rams are going to control the Saints' running attack. It's going to make them one-dimensional, and I think that's why they edge them. And then last point, I don't think Drew Brees retires. Drew Brees is one of the most disrespected quarterback legacy-wise. I think what he wants is to pass Peyton Manning on legacy. If he wins, he's in the same boat that Peyton Manning is with 2 Super Bowl rings. He will be looking for that third one, so when it's all said and done, he can say, you know what? Peyton was one of the greatest. I had 3. He had 2. We were both offensive gurus putting all these numbers. But as the stats are done, I have better stats than Peyton. That's what I think. I think if he wins, it's just even more incentive to stay, in my opinion.
I don't know. I can't see – I don't see him as being that type of person. I feel like – what motivates him is winning another Super Bowl. And I just think at his age, there really isn't much more for him to accomplish. Yeah, a passing Peyton Manning would be nice, but I don't see that changing his status and where he ranks as far as an NFL quarterback in history. I mean, he's obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I don't think sticking around and taking a chance, because there's no guarantees with it, taking a chance on trying to win another championship and the abuse that you take on your body year in and year out. He's got a family with a bunch of kids. I don't know. I see him as more the kind of guy that he'll ride off into the sunset if he gets this second championship behind him. It's just my opinion. Darion, what's your take on that?
I just want to rebuttal off what he was saying about the running backs. If you look at that Eagles game, the Eagles had Kamara, Ingram kind of like shut down majority of that game. Right. It was really Michael Thomas that really put that game over the hump. If you want to look at as far as that, but if you want to look at the stats as far as Darnold and Sue in that line, the weakest part of that Rams defense is their linebacking core. And I feel like with the way Mark Ingram runs and the way Alvin Kamara runs, they could get to that second level. Mind you, they have some dogs up there in that Saints offensive line. So as far as the run game goes, I wouldn't say if they shut them down to at least under 100. I still think it won't make a difference because they could catch the football out the backfield. If you look at that Dallas game with the Rams, who was Zeke's backup? Who was able to
that was going to be my argument with it too, is they don't have a change of pace back there in Dallas. I mean, you shut down Zeke. What do you have, like 20 carries for 45 yards or something like that? I mean, he had hardly nothing, but you got that 1-2 combo, Ingram and Kamara, that can do a little bit different things, that change of pace, like you said. That's going to be a tall task for that defense to shut down. I agree with you there.
And as far as Drew Brees goes, I think he'll ride off into the sunset after this year, because if he wins the Super Bowl, if you think about it, he'll be a little different from Peyton Manning. We all know Drew Brees started his career in San Diego, but he didn't finish it there. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Saints. If he wins his second Super Bowl, I think the difference between them two is that, Peyton got one in Indianapolis and he got one in Denver. I think that puts Breeze over top of him just in the fact that he got 2 Super Bowls with one team instead of two Super Bowls with 2 different teams. But as far as like stats wise, he already outdid Peyton Manning. He already beat almost all the passing yards outside of him and Tom Brady beating all the passing yards. If he gets another Super Bowl, I think he'll ride off into the sunset. I don't think he's going to go far and try to be like Tom Brady and play until he's 60 years old. So, like,
all right, well, we're talking a lot about Super Bowl. So let's go through some hypotheticals, right? So let's say we get our Super Bowl predictions correct. We get these picks correct. Sonny, I'll let you take the floor. So you had the Chiefs and the Rams meeting in the Super Bowl. How do you see that one going down?
I feel like this is the year for Andy Reid to get over the hump. I think Andy Reid will get the Super Bowl, even if it is against the Saints. Like I said, for me, that was the hardest game to predict. But I think the Chiefs are equipped to beat either team. That passing attack is so lethal. And if it is against the Saints, you know what they're going to do? They're going to expose Eli Apple. I mean, they're going to go through there, and they're still going to run the ball, and it's going to lead to play action. Different from Gronk, Kelsey's a beast. It's just hard. If you're not the Ravens, it's hard for you to stop them. Even the Ravens had a tough time. Right. But I just think Kansas City has all the components. If they had Hunt, for me, it would be no question, give it to them now. Without Hunt, there is a slight possibility, but I just think the Chiefs they're gonna be ready, and I think this is the year for the Chiefs. I think Andy Reid gets over the hump and gets the Super Bowl.
All right, Darion, you had the Chiefs and the Saints in the Super Bowl. How do you see that going?
Y'all know where this Super Bowl is being played at, right? It's going to be played in the Mercedes. No, it's going to be played in not the, I don't think it's Mercedes-Benz.
And it's Mercedes. It's a Mercedes too.
Oh, okay. It's Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Yeah.
Is in a dome. And you know how the Saints play in a dome. It's actually like they playing at home if you think about it. It's not too far from where they live at. Not too far from where they at. But I feel like with Andy Reid is pushing to win a Super Bowl. He's pushing to that. It's tough to call, but I'm edging it to Drew Brees and the Saints to win it in the Super Bowl. I think Lutz go down, hits a 50-yarder, and the game is over. Patrick Mahomes did everything he could to keep the offense scoring, but the defense lets them down in the fourth quarter. Drew Brees put them in position to win the game. I'm going with the Saints here. Drew Brees, I think he wants it more. He wants it more because he's on his way out. At the end of the day, we got young quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jared Goff. Those guys will come up. They are the future of the league. Drew Brees is going to be on his way out soon. I think he can still play a few years, but if he wins another Super Bowl, he's going to be on his way out. I don't think he wouldn't have nothing else to accomplish. But I am going to take the Saints here in the Super Bowl to win it all. Patrick Mahomes will be back for next year's Super Bowl. Andy Reid, I'm sorry, man. I know you're a Philadelphia Eagle. They love you here, but I just think the Saints are just too much as far as, veteran wise to get over the hump to beat the Saints.
All right. So beat
the Chiefs, my bad.
For me, I got the same matchup. I got the Saints and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to pick with my heart on this one. I'm not going to pick with my head. Probably come back to bite me, but Andy Reid, he's a guy that I don't care what team you root for. You really can't hate Andy Reid. Like, he's just one of those guys that generally people just like him. He just seems like a likable guy. He's played a lot. He's been a coach for a long time in the NFL. He's a guy that's overdue a Super Bowl. And I think he's got the guy and he's got the team in line to be able to do so. This Chiefs team is going to be dangerous for years to come. If they can add a few pieces on defense, if they can find now the replacement for Kareem Hunt at running back, a guy that can catch out of the backfield and, be that explosive type runner, this team is going to be the next New England, where they're going to be constantly in the playoffs and constantly in the championship games, as long as obviously everything stays healthy and all that good stuff. So as much as I want to pick the legend and I want to pick the veteran, and like I said, I trust Sean Payton and I trust Drew Brees, I just think that this offense in Kansas City is too dynamic. Damian Williams, for me, showed me something last week. Like that was the one question mark I had for them was through this run, through the playoffs, were they going to be able to get enough out of their running game? And I think they can if they can run the ball like they did last week. To your credit, though, I mean, this will be almost a home game for the Saints if it works out that way in Atlanta, in the Dome. So I think it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be another one of those, I don't want to say 50-point games, but I got a feeling this game could get up in the low 40s. I think this could be like a 42-38 kind of game, a high-scoring, a lot of offense. But I think the Chiefs win it, and I think the Chiefs get Andy Reid his first Super Bowl.
I'm not even mad at that, though. I love the Saints, but I'm not even mad at that.
Right.
Even if the Chiefs do win it, I'm still not mad at it. But I just feel like Breeze, he needs that second Super Bowl, man. Patrick Mahomes is going to get multiples. We already know that. But right now, Breeze needs it more than any quarterback in his league because I think he only got one.
Right.
He got one right now. So
yep.
And last time they went 13-3, they won the Super Bowl. So that's a stat right there too.
Right.
So based on that, I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, I would have bet years ago that Rodgers would have more than one at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Brees would have more than one. Phillip Rivers would have at least one, and none of those things happen. So nothing is guaranteed.
No, you're right.
I think the better story, even though it will go against completely my picks, I think the better story is the Saints and New England going to the Super Bowl and Drew Brees winning the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. I think that's what the NFL will love for it to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That is against my picks, literally. I'll be rooting. If you tell me who I'm rooting for the Saints. I love Drew Brees. I love Drew Brees in San Diego. So I'll be rooting for them. I just think I don't see them winning. There's that. Again, it is hard. That game was particularly hard. But at the 4 team, I think Kansas City is the better team. And I like Andy Reid, so I wouldn't be mad of him winning the Super Bowl.
Speaking of, I just wanted to do like, his off picks. See, me, I had the Chargers beating the Patriots, and I would like to see the Chargers and the Saints because of that storyline as well.
Right.
Knowing that Breeze left San Diego, and then Rivers took over after Breeze left. That storyline, seeing both of them in the Super Bowl, knowing that backstory, that would have been good as well.
Yeah, the Chargers were my sleeper team coming into this year. I thought that this was the best team that Phillip Rivers has had in his career, and I thought he was poised to have an MVP-type season, which if some of the other quarterbacks like Mahomes and Breeze aren't putting up the numbers that they are, Rivers is right there in the conversation as far as MVP goes. But, man, they really laid an egg last week. Completely. It was so frustrating, especially as Ravens fans, knowing that we could have gone up to Foxborough and at least given the Patriots a hell of a lot better of a football game than that game was. But nonetheless, Chargers did what they did, and they beat us here in Baltimore, and we got to live with that, and we're moving on and going to rebuild and retool for next year. So excited for the Ravens and the Ravens' future. But I appreciate you guys being on the show. That's a wrap on our conference championship picks and even some hypothetical Super Bowl picks. Darion, take a second, man. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you're working on, all that good stuff, man.
Well, I'm working on a few things right now. I have the Key and D show. Episode 2 will be coming out. We'll be going live for that tomorrow with me and Nakia from Spotlight Sports Talk. I got the NFC Championship game coming up that I have to do there, and I got a live stream I have to do for basketball as well. But y'all can subscribe to me at Spotlight Sports Talk, Twitter at Spotlight FB Talk, Facebook Spotlight Sports Talk. Everything else is the same, but y'all can all follow me there, follow us there. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Appreciate you being on. Sonny, tell them where they can find you, brother.
So at SZG Sports on Twitter, Facebook SZG Sports, IG SZG Sports, on YouTube SZG Sports. I'm working currently on the Ravens roster review. So I did the first part, which is we went through the whole offense. Who stays, who goes, what free agency should we bring, if we should draft for each position. Part 2 coming next week on the defensive side, which I think is when there's way more decisions to make than on the offensive side. I'm doing that in conjunction with Coach Evans.
Nice.
And then I'm Also doing my Wizards. If you're a Wizards fan, I have videos for the Wizards and Orioles videos coming up, and I'm hoping to have Fred and Scott for the Orioles videos.
For sure.
They like to talk some BS. We were on Twitter yesterday just battling. I'm like, what is this BS? And they're like, it's Birdland BS.
That's right. All right, man. Appreciate you guys being on. There's going to be links down below for you guys to subscribe to Sonny and to Darion's channel. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time here on Birdland BS. See ya.